Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Running Out of Time, a Hong Kong suspense flick from 1999 that was directed by Johnnie To. Now, I mentioned in my review of Drug War that I wanted to cover a bunch of films from this director, and this is another one. Now, Running Out of Time is essentially a duel of wits between a cop, played by Lau Ching Wan, and a man with enigmatic motives, played by Andy Lau. Now, this man, near the beginning of the film, is informed by his doctor that he's got about 4 weeks left to live, tops. He then goes out and takes a businessman hostage at a finance company and tells the cop, Lau Ching Wan, when he shows up, that he wants to play a game with him for 72 hours. So something happens here, and after this event, the cop suspects a hidden connection here, so he investigates the finance company itself and learns that it has some shady dealings. So things move on from there, with Andy Lau consistently baiting and irritating Lau Ching Wan with various clues and challenges for him to solve and accomplish. So one of the coolest aspects of Running Out of Time is that it feels very different from a typical action thriller. You know, for one, it mostly avoids explosive action and intense thrills in favor of well-written and cleverly written and playful scenarios. You know, there are times in this movie where you think something's going to happen, but it disarms you and does something different that's more intelligent, interesting, and charming than you were initially expecting. And sometimes it's legitimately funny while doing it. There's definitely a dash of humor in this film that's very organic and emerges from the story and characters naturally, which is a big plus when you're watching a Hong Kong film, because some Hong Kong films, the humor just doesn't work, right? Now, the script also forces the viewer to figure some things out on their own in typical Johnnie To fashion. He doesn't always like to spell everything out for you, especially up front, because the motivations of Andy Lau's character is not exactly clear from the start of the film. But you get pieces of what he's trying to do as the film progresses, and it's kind of entertaining to figure out what his end game is and what his ultimate goal is going to be. And because of all these elements, Running Out of Time is a lot of fun to watch, despite being a little bit more low-key than most genre films of this kind. And it certainly helps that you have Andy Lau and Lau Ching Wan in the lead roles. They're both fantastic in this. You can just tell watching the film that they had a lot of fun making this. And they play off one another really well. Their on-screen chemistry is off the charts. You know, the way they attempt to outsmart one another leads to situations where Lau Ching Wan's cop character becomes incredibly frustrated at what's going on, and that leads to an even greater sense of rivalry between their characters. That makes it really fun. Also, their character relationship is kind of multi-layered and dynamic. The cop initially sees Andy Lau's character as an enemy, but he understands that they may have a common enemy between the two that needs to be taken down. So you end up with this situation where you have a competition of sorts, where the cop is attempting to use Andy Lau's clues and tricks to his favor to take down their common adversary, while at the same time beating Andy Lau at his own game and bringing him to justice for the crimes that he's committed. So the whole scenario is very entertaining stuff. And as an added bonus, there's a slight emotional resonance at the end of the film as well, which kind of surprised me. Now, this is one of those films where you miss the characters immediately after you're done watching the film. And I got the urge to rewatch it immediately after rewatching it again recently, like 2 weeks ago. So that's a good thing. The music in this movie is very soothing, which is an interesting choice for a film of this kind. And again, it just makes Running Out of Time feel refreshingly different. Now, in terms of flaws, I will say that it does get rather contrived at times because, for example, sometimes Andy Lau's character's plan relies on other characters to act in certain ways and do certain things at certain times. And I was asking myself, how does this guy know that this other guy's going to react in that specific way? Because if he didn't, his plan would not have worked. You know what I'm saying? And it does happen a few times in this movie, but the film is so much fun to watch, it's easy to roll with it. You know what I mean? It's easy to roll with it, but it is there. So Running Out of Time does come highly recommended by me. It's one of those movies that just keeps getting better every time I watch it. Every time I watch the film, I like it a little bit more. You know what I mean? It's currently available on DVD and Blu-ray in the United States, so check this one out. And as always, I'll see you next time.